Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Metropolis Radio. And if you think that the news of the FTC suing to block the Microsoft acquisition deal was big news, in my opinion, this news is just as big, if not bigger. And this coming from the Hollywood Reporter of all places. I know I just happened to stumble across this, and I'm just laughing here. Fortnite maker Epic Games will pay record $520 million in FTC privacy and billing settlement. Now, you might be thinking, that's a huge freaking settlement, which, yes, it is. I believe it's the largest settlement that the FTC has ever issued. But when you add in the context that Fortnite has made more than $9 billion in revenue in its first 2 years, reported on by The Verge back in May of 2021, after that was revealed as part of Epic Games' antitrust suit against Apple. It might be big, but then again, it might not, with the billions of dollars that Epic Games have made. But anyway, of the total, $275 million is a penalty related to the allegations that the company violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, and $245 million as a refund to customers for unwanted in-game purchases. Epic Games will issue the largest consumer refund in history in connection with unwanted charges in Fortnite, $245 million, and pay a record penalty of $275 million for alleged violations of COPPA. Quote, Epic put children and teens at risk through its lax privacy practices and cost consumers millions in illegal charges through the use of dark patterns, said FTC Consumer Protection Bureau Director Samuel Levine in a Monday announcement. Under the proposed orders announced today, the company will be required to change its default settings, return millions to consumers, and pay a record-breaking penalty for its privacy abuses. In its complaint, the FTC alleges that Epic put children and teens in harmful situations by allowing them to interact with adult strangers online without requiring parental consent, which is required under COPPA, and the FTC says Epic employees began flagging problematic default settings as early as 2017. Quote, Epic's matchmaking children and teens with strangers while broadcasting players' account names and imposing live-on by default voice and text communications have caused substantial injuries, states the complaint. Children and teens have been bullied, threatened, and harassed within Fortnite, including a word that I cannot say. Children and teens have also been exposed to dangerous and psychological traumatizing issues such as suicide and self-harm through Fortnite, and the few relevant privacy and parental controls Epic has introduced over time have not meaningfully alleviated these harms or empowered players to avoid them. You know, I read this as someone in my late 20s. I remember growing up and playing Call of Duty Online, back during a time when you were not allowed to enter party chat. You had to enter into game chat, and boy, oh boy, the crap that people would throw at you. You know how many times I was called the N-word during Call of Duty matches? Too many fucking times to count. You know how many times I was told to go kill myself, go fuck my mother, so on and so forth. You know how many times people threw that at me? Too many fucking times to count. But now, 2022, we gotta clamp down on people calling each other, motherfuckers and assholes, and my personal favorite, motherfucking assholes. FTC Commissioner Christine Wilson issued a concurring statement emphasizing the dangers of ignoring children's privacy issues when it comes to online gaming. How about we just acknowledge that children should not be playing, online multiplayer games, especially games like Call of Duty? How about that for a frickin' start? She shared 3 examples of real underage users involving a thing that I cannot mention, but something that Mike Skupin pled guilty to having a few years ago. So if you want to look that up, do it. And said she hopes that it is a quote-unquote a wake-up call to skeptics who believe that invasions of privacy lead merely to targeted advertising. Epic published a lengthy post on its website addressing the allegations in settlement. Quote, no developer creates a game with the intention of ending up here, it reads. The video game industry is a place of fast-moving innovation where player expectations are high and new ideas are paramount. Statutes written decades ago don't specify how gaming ecosystems should operate. The laws have not changed, but their application has evolved, and long-standing industry practices are no longer enough. We accepted this agreement because we want Epic to be at the forefront of consumer protection and provide the best experience for our players. What about all the bullshit going on with the Epic Games Store and the Chinese government allegedly looking in on user data? You gonna address that, Epic Games? The company also says that the gaming industry needs to make it standard practice to assume that kids are playing games above their age rating. Yes, how many times have we all complained about 12-year-olds playing frickin' Call of Duty? Quote, Fortnite is rated teen and is directed at an older teen and college-age audience. We recently rolled out cabin accounts, a new type of Epic account that provides a tailored experience that is safe and inclusive for younger players. Players under 13 or their country's age of digital consent, whichever is higher, will be able to play Fortnite while they wait for parental consent, but in a tailored environment where certain features such as chat and purchasing are disabled. In addition to the monetary penalty, Epic will be barred from enabling voice and text communications for children and teens unless parents give affirmative consent, and the company will have to delete any personal information it has previously connected through Fortnite in violation of COPPA rules unless it gets parental consent to retain it. Here's the thing that all 12-year-olds are now going to do in Fortnite. They're just going to create a new account and just lie about their date of birth. Just make themselves look a couple years older to get around it, because woohoo! At least now I don't have to get mommy or daddy's permission to turn on my voice chat so I can talk with my friends. You know, there's a really easy way to circumvent this if you're a 12-year-old, right? Quote, Epic used privacy-invasive default settings and deceptive interfaces that trick Fortnite users, including teenagers and children, said FTC Chair Lena M. Khan in a Monday statement. Protecting the public and especially children from online privacy invasions and dark patterns is a top priority for the commission. So what in the hell are dark patterns? I'm gonna jump over to this Kotaku article that does break it down in English. It's just one paragraph here. The second summit is for using dark patterns to trick players into making unwanted purchases. Specifically, Epic is accused of making it easy to accidentally buy skins when previewing them and hard to find the refund option when players want to reverse the transaction. The FTC also says that when charges were reversed, Epic would sometimes ban those accounts a la Sony, leaving players locked out of content they had previously paid for. As a result, Epic will pay $245 million into a fund to reimburse players affected by unintentional purchases. Yes, very much like what would happen with Sony. God forbid, like somebody hacks your PlayStation Plus account or something, and they take your credit card information, and they're buying like a bunch of games using it. You report it to Sony. This happened. This still goes on. I believe this still goes on, right? You report it to Sony for the fraudulent charges, but they would not issue you a refund. They would just lock out that person from the games. And if you even attempt it, if you went to your bank and disputed the charges, guess what Sony would do? They would just bar you out of your account and then have the fucking balls to tell you that you now owe Sony money. Yes, I believe it still goes on to this day. I remember hearing that. A few years ago, thinking that's absolute freaking bullshit. But the fact that could still go on. But here, let's go after. You know, if the Fortnite settlement, if they can go after Epic Games and Fortnite for doing it, then we're not that far removed from them being able to go after Sony for it. But here we go. Where was I? Oh, here we go. With regard to the game makers' charging and billing practices, the FTC claims Epic deployed design tricks known as dark patterns to dupe millions of players into making unintentional purchases and let children rack up unauthorized charges without any parental involvement. Yeah, how much longer before they go after the mobile games market? Epic notes that games should go above and beyond to make sure players even more clearly understand when they are making a purchase with real money or with virtual currencies to prevent accidental purchases. A fast way that they could have implemented this but chose not to is to basically have a confirmation screen, something to the effect of, are you sure that you want to purchase XYZ for X amount of money, and you have to click on yes again. The fact that it took an FTC investigation and half $1 billion in fines and settlements to get to this point pretty much tells you everything you need to know about, free to play and online multiplayer games. The $245 million Epic pays in that part of the settlement will go toward user refunds. The FTC has created a page with details about eligibility and the refund processes for users whose children made unauthorized purchases between January 2017 and November 2018, and others who were charged in-game currency or had accounts locked after disputing unauthorized charges with their credit card companies. Now, am I glad that that the FTC is finally going after these bullshit free-to-play games? Yes. Because like I said, you know, today they're going after Fortnite. Tomorrow they could use this, something known as precedent. They could use this to go after Sony and say you can't ban people's accounts for simply disputing charges, for simply disputing fraudulent charges, even if Sony admits that they're fraudulent. God forbid if you go to your bank and dispute the charges, Sony will lock you out of your account and you lose all of the digital games that you purchased. So again, this is a step in the right direction. Like I said, now you may disagree, like, oh, who cares about Fortnite? But again, now the precedent has been set, and that is ultimately what matters here. And guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video right here before I drag this out way longer than it needs to be. If you stuck around this long, thanks so much for doing so. And if you've been following me long enough, you know I'm terrible at ending these videos, so I will just see you guys next time.